Hello everyone, hope all of you are safe and healthy. Welcome to IASbaba's Rapid Revision Series for Prelims 2021. This is session 79 and day 109, and the topic we have is Economic Survey and the Budget. So these are the hot topics we are going to discuss. That is the first two topics, they go with the MCQs as usual, and then the third one, Regulation in India. What the Economic Survey speaks of regulation in India, then innovation in India and R&D sector, then social sector, then environment protection and ecology, then budget highlights, then national monetization pipeline, then new schemes launched in the budget recently. So in these two topics we cover almost all the new schemes, so that would be a brush up for you. Now coming to the first one, with reference to cultural history of India, consider the following pairs, that is Parivrajaka, that is the renunciant and the wanderer, then Shramana, priest with high status, then Upasaka, lay follower of Buddhism. Friends, it is an easy question, and this Shramana and Parivrajaka, they were asked in 2007 prelims. So this is a repetitive question also, so I don't think it will be difficult for you. And moreover friends, if you go through standard books like Nitin Singhani and all, you will get to know that Shramana is not at all a priest, and Shramana tradition, they were absolutely against these rituals and other priestly culture. So we can eliminate 2 and 1 and 3 will be the answer. But obvious, Parivrajaka, they are the renunciant wanderers, and Upasaka, that is lay followers. Friends, even if you are good at Sanskrit, you can hit it. Friends, Upasaka means one who sits nearby, or the devotee who sits nearby the deity. So even by that, you can get to know that 2 should not be there and 3 should be there. So by that also, B can be the option. So an easy question, not at all a difficult. Once again I suggest, before going to prelims, go through the previous 5 to 6 years of question paper, so that at least 2 to 3 questions will be repetitive, either one or the other way. So not the entire question, but either a part or some statements of the question will be repeated. Then come to next one. With reference to Indian elephants, consider the following statements. The leader of an elephant group is a female. Friends, there are no extreme statements here, we consider for further consideration. Then the maximum gestation of period can be 22 months. Again, no more extremities. Then an elephant can normally go on calving till the age of 40 years only. Friends, here 40 years only is bit extreme, or it is bit peculiar. Friends, biology is biology. We cannot restrict any gestation or any calving age for one particular year. Or if any elephant in any part of the world, if it is having calving age more than 40 years, then UPSC will not go and hold it back. So this is statement, but obvious it will become wrong. So we eliminate 3 and check for the options. So here C and D will be eliminated, and our duty is to check for A and B only. Friends, here 2 are present in both the options, and our duty is to check for 1 and 4 only. Now coming to the statements, the first statement says that the leader of an elephant group is a female. Then the fourth statement says that among the states in India, the highest elephant population is in Kerala. So friends, here we have seen in the National Geographic channels or any other pictures of elephant herd moving. So we can see that almost all the elephants which are moving in the front line, they will not be having any tusks. So that means that they are female elephants. So in other words, it is the matriarchy which is prevalent in the elephants. So statement 1 will be correct and 4 cannot be correct because of the optional constraint. So A can be the answer here. Then come to next one. Which of the following protected areas are located in the Kaveri basin? First one, Nagarhole National Park, then Papikonda National Park, then Satyamangalam Tiger Reserve, then Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary. If you are thorough with some of the South Indian languages, then you can hit it. Friends, Papikonda. Konda means a mountain or a hill in Telugu. Friends, if you have read about Tirupati, that is Venkataramana, he is also called as Yedu Kondalavada. Yedu Kondalavada means one who resides in the 7 hills. Yedu means 7, Konda means hills. So here Papikonda means it is Papi Hills. So it is in Andhra Pradesh, and Kaveri will never flow in Andhra Pradesh. It only flows in Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Karnataka. So 2 can be eliminated, and we check for the options for the luck. Friends, A and D will be eliminated, and we are left with B and C, that is 3 and 4 and 1, 3 and 4. So our duty is to check for option 1 only, because 3 and 4 are present in both the options. Then coming to first one, Nagarhole National Park. Friends, Hole means a rivulet in Kannada. If you have gone through the word Haihole and Patadakallu, friends, High Hole, North Indians noted it is not High Hole, it is High Hole. Hole means a rivulet. So friends, Nagarhole means the Nagar rivulet. High Hole means I rivulet. So friends, this Nagarhole, it comes in the state of Karnataka, and it might be that Kaveri flows besides Nagarhole National Park. So by taking a crude guess, we can hit C 1, 3 and 4 as the option. And moreover friends, this Nagarhole National Park, it will be appearing often in news. So I don't think it will be difficult for you to hit the correct answer. Then come to next one. With reference to India's biodiversity, Ceylon frogmouth, then copper smith barbet, then grey-chinned minivet, and white-throated redstart. So what are these? Friends, in the Hindu newspaper, we came across the word that is the Sri Lankan frogmouth or the Ceylon frogmouth. Friends, it is a bird, and but obvious the answer can be the birds only. And moreover friends, if you have gone through the word barbet, then minivet, etc., these are the species of birds. So keep your eyes and ears open. If you come across any difficult word while reading the articles, while watching the movies, geographic channels, etc., go through the dictionary. It will come in handy in the prelims or any other situations whenever you want. So do it. Now coming to the next one. Which one of the following protected areas is well known for the conservation of subspecies of Indian swamp deer, that is Barasinga, that thrives well on hard ground and is exclusively graminivorous. So this thrives on grass and hard ground. Friends, the Hindu newspaper, it carried the photo of Kanha National Park, and it also said that the swamp deers, they are present here, and it was reopened after the COVID-19 pandemic. So I don't think you will be having a difficulty in answering this, and Kanha National Park will be the answer for this. So friends, what lesson do we learn? It is our duty to go through the standard books, and it is our duty to go through the previous year questions, and it is our duty to go through the daily newspapers. And if you do that, most of the questions you can answer in prelims. So this is all about today's guesswork. Come to next one. The regulation in India. Friends, what does the economic survey say about Indian regulatory bodies? The first one, the survey highlighted excessive regulation in the country. So the regulatory bodies, they are regulating over than sufficient. Then India over-regulates the economy, resulting in regulations being ineffective. So because of over-regulation, the regulations are becoming ineffective. So this over-regulation is backfiring. Then the root cause of the problem of over-regulation is an approach that attempts to account for every possible outcome. So every rupee spent, it will be accounted, and it will be accounted by several multiple eyes. So this over accountability is leading to over regulation. Then the solution is to simplify regulations and invest in greater supervision, which by definition implies greater discretion. So allow discretion to the regulatory bodies and maintain supervision. So do not micromanage. So this is what the solution given by economic survey. Then regulatory forbearance for banks after global financial crisis involved relaxing the norms for restructuring assets, where restructured assets were no longer required to be classified as non-performing assets. So friends, after the global financial crisis of 2008, several countries, they relaxed the non-performing asset norms for the banks, but however, we know that in India even today, the most stringent norms for restructuring of assets and classifying of the assets as non-performing assets continues. So this has to be relaxed. So that is what the suggestion of the economic survey. Then the suggestions, instead of continuing regulatory forbearance for years, policy makers should lay out thresholds of economic recovery at which such measures will be withdrawn. So whenever the economy recovers from the global slowdown or the pandemic, we have to relax the regulation performed by the regulatory bodies. So this was the suggestion given by the economic survey regarding the regulation in India. Then come to next one, the innovation in India. Friends, India entered top 50 innovating countries for the first time in 2020 since the inception of Global Innovation Index in 2007. So friends, here Global Innovation Index is worth remembering, and India entering top 50 in 2020 is also worth remembering. And then India ranked first in Central and South Asia and the third among the lower middle income group economies. So it was first in Central and South Asia and third among the lower income group economies. Then India's gross domestic expenditure on the research and development is lowest among the top 10 economies. So within the top 10 economies, India is having the lowest R&D. So here in this figure, we can see that the government expenditure is only 0.65%, and the top 10 economies, they spend from 1.5 to 3% of GDP. So this is very meager and we have to improve. Then come to more facts. India's aspiration must be to compete on innovation with the top 10 economies. Yes, we have to do that. So Abdul Kalam's low aim is crime. We will remember that. Then India and sovereign credit ratings. Friends, India's sovereign credit ratings do not reflect the economy's fundamentals. So this is what the opinion of the economic survey is. It is not believing in the international sovereign credit rating, and it seems that India deserves a much better rank compared to the present ranks which it has. Then the global agencies should become more transparent and less subjective in their rankings. So it suggests the global ranking institutions to correct their methodologies for ranking. Then here are some of the facts regarding R&D in India. So you can go through whenever you are free. So this is all about innovation and credit rating. Then come to next one. the fiscal numbers. Friends, the budget says that as a percentage of GDP, the government expenditure will fall to 15.6% for the current fiscal against 17.7% in the previous fiscal. So, compared to 2020-21, in 2021-22, the government expenditure was 15.6% rather than 17.7%. Then, fiscal deficit stood at 9.5% for the fiscal year 2021 and it is pegged to be reduced to 6.8% in the fiscal year 2022. So, this COVID-19, then the economic crunch, so all this it led to the hike in fiscal deficit. However, actual prediction was the fiscal deficit would reduce basically due to the reduction in imports and lack of business activity. So, this 6.8% reduction we had spoke in the last class, but however, the current status is 9.5%. So, this we will remember. Then, with a steady decline over a period, fiscal deficit target of 4.5% of GDP will be met by 2025-26. So, the budget says that we have a hope that by 2025-26, the fiscal deficit it will reduce to 4.5%. So, nearly half of 9.5%. So, we will see how fast it will reach this number. Then, 15th Finance Commission has recommended reducing the fiscal deficit to 4% by fiscal year 2026. So, this is 0.5% points less than the 4.5%. We will see how it happens. Then, the FRBM had set a target of 3% of GDP by fiscal year 2021 as per the amendment in the 2018. So, once again, actually we are increasing rather than reducing. So, when we will reach 3%, we will wait and see. Then, the revenue deficit has revised for fiscal year 2021 to 7.5% and for fiscal year 2022 to 5.1%. So, in fiscal year 2022, even the revenue deficit is going to fall to 5.1%. So, we will wait and watch for the sweet year. Then, the fiscal deficit for the current fiscal will be the highest since the liberalization reforms began in 1991. But however, friends, due to the pandemic, this can be treated as an exception. Then, the government had budgeted a fiscal deficit target of 3.5% for the fiscal year 21, but the pandemic inflicted twin shocks to the balance sheet. So, what are the twin shocks that was inflicted on the balance sheet? That is contraction in the nominal GDP and reducing the tax revenues. So, tax collection was less and the GDP was contracting. Then, greater spending. So, less income, more spending, automatically the deficit, it will increase. So, these are some of the fiscal numbers given by Economic Survey and Budget. Then, come to next one, social sector. Friends, here the budget speaks of bare necessities index. Friends, the budget says that bare necessities index can be constructed for all our targeted districts to assess the progress on access to bare necessities. So, we have to do it at the district level. So, this fact we will remember. Then, the bare necessities index summarizes 26 indicators on 5 dimensions, that is water, sanitation, housing, then microenvironment and other facilities. So, these 5 dimensions we will remember, that is water, sanitation, housing and microenvironment. Then, bare necessities have improved across all states in the country in 2018 as compared to 2012. So, this fact we will remember, that is all the states, though it is extreme, the statistics stands to be true. Then, here is a figure regarding the bare necessities and here are some of the states which didn't perform well in 2012 and even those states they have performed well, and here are the green states which are doing a great achievement in the bare necessities index, and still we have to improve in West Bengal, Jharkhand and Odisha. So, these are some of the statistics regarding the bare necessities index, and here we can see Kerala, Punjab and Haryana, they have ranked in the top of the list. Then Uttarakhand, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, they have showed a significant improvement. And then Odisha, Jharkhand and West Bengal, they are in the bottom of the list. So, Kerala, Punjab for top ranking, then Odisha, Jharkhand for bottom ranking, and Uttarakhand, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh for better improvement, they have to be remembered. So, this is all about the bare necessities index. Then inequality and growth. Friends, the economic growth has a great impact on poverty alleviation than inequality. So, friends, the Economic Survey and Budget, they say that instead of begetting inequality, the economic growth, it actually curbs poverty. So, economic growth is necessary. It is not a bane, it is a boon. So, this is what the Budget and Economic Survey say. Then, India must continue to focus on economic growth to lift the poor out of poverty, because the redistribution in a developing country is feasible only if the size of economic pie grows. So, if there is more pie, then we can more redistribute from rich to poor and thereby we can alleviate poor from the poverty. So, this is what the opinion of the Economic Survey and the Budget is. Then come to next one, the social infrastructure, employment and human development. Friends, the combined center and state social sector expenditure as percentage of GDP has increased in 2020-21 compared to the last year. Then India's rank in Human Development Index in 2019 was recorded at 131 out of total 189 countries. So this was directly taken out from HDI index and there is no speciality in it, it is just a copy paste. Then government's incentive to boost employment through Atmanirbhar Bharat Rozgar Yojana is yielding results. So Atmanirbhar Bharat Rozgar Yojana is worth remembering here. Then low level of female labor force participation rate in India. Yes friends, we know that the female labor force participation rate in India is very low. In that context, Economic Survey and Budget, they give their opinions. That is, females are spending disproportionately more time on unpaid domestic and caregiving services as per the Time Use Survey of 2019. Yes friends, but obvious, female citizens, they are indulged in most of the household chores which are not provided with adequate income. Then there is a need to promote non-discriminatory practices at the workplace like the pay and career progression. So in pay and career progression, we have to maintain equality between the genders. Then to improve work incentives, we have to provide more incentives for the female workers like the medical and social security benefits, and by this we can improve the labor force participation rate among the females. So this is what the suggestion of Economic Survey and Budget is. Then come to next one, the environment protection. Friends, the voluntary national review presented in the United Nations High Level Political Forum on Sustainable Development Goals. Friends, this was one of the achievements by the Government of India, that is, in the direction of curbing the climate change in India, we voluntarily submitted our performance in the United Nations Forum. Then we have come up with the localization of SDGs, and this localization is for every villages. So that is also a great step towards curbing the climate change in India. Then 8 national missions under the National Action Plan on Climate Change focuses on the objectives of adoption, mitigation and preparedness on climate risks. So whenever the climate change comes, the National Action Plan of Climate Change, it comes into picture. Then the nationally determined contribution states that finance is a critical enabler of climate change action. So Government of India is a harbinger for gathering more and more funds from the developed nations towards the developing nations, because finance is one of the main enablers for curbing the climate change. Then International Solar Alliance, and then International Solar Alliance, it launched 2 new initiatives, that is the World Solar Bank and then One Sun, One World, One Grid initiative, and these are poised to bring about solar energy revolution globally. So friends, here we have to go through and remember the voluntary national review, and then the localization of SDGs, and then NAPCC, then nationally determined contributions, and we are way ahead of nationally determined contributions, even that we have to go through. Then but obvious, International Solar Alliance, and then World Solar Bank, and One Sun, One World, One Grid. So all these things are worth remembering. And here we get a statistics that both Kharif and Rabi crops, they are being harmed due to increasing temperature. So here we can see the yield is being dipped when the temperature goes towards warmer, and this effect is worse for both Kharif and Rabi crops. So this fact we will remember, and that is why not only for environment, even for agriculture, it is the high time that we curb the climate change and global warming. Then come to next one, the budget highlights. Friends, budget states that the fiscal deficit stands at 9.5% of GDP, which is estimated to be 6.8%. Yes friends, we know that, we have discussed even in the earlier slides. Then state borrowing have been increased up to 4% of GSDP. Earlier it was 3% and now it is increased to 4% because states were not given the GST compensation funds, and even to purchase vaccination they didn't have money. So the limit was increased so that they can borrow. Then the FDI limit in insurance sector has been increased from 49% to 74% under the automatic route. So this is one of the steps to enable foreign direct investments, so that we will remember. Then the government expects to raise rupees 1 lakh crore from disinvestment in public sector banks and financial institutions. So this 1 lakh crore, it is a huge target, and government is poised for the greater disinvestments in the time to come. Then the allocated capital budget for defense has been fully utilized since 2016-17. Friends, from 2016-17 to 2019-20, the defense budget was not utilized fully, and some parts of the budget used to be paid back to the finance ministry. But this year they have utilized fully, and this is a welcome step. So this full utilization is worth remembering. Then come to next one, the budget for MSMEs have been doubled from the previous year to rupees 15,700 crores. So this doubling we have to remember. Then dividend income has now been made taxable in the hands of recipient. Earlier it was being made taxable in the hands of the dividend giver, and now it is taxed in the hands of dividend receiver. Now the share purchasers, they have to pay the tax and not the companies which are giving the dividends. So this fact we will remember. And then the budget of rupees 2,23,846 crore has been allocated to the healthcare sector, which ups to 137% compared to the 94,452 crores in the previous year. So this 137% increase in the healthcare budget we have to remember. Then vehicle scrapping policy has been announced to phase out old and unfit vehicles. So this vehicle scrapping policy is a new policy brought in, and this becomes important. And then all vehicles have to undergo the fitness test. So this is a new scheme and it is important. So these are some of the highlights, and friends, several tax holidays, tax exemptions, then tax rebates were given. So those are not important for prelims, and those will be changing every year. So these are some of the highlights. Then come to next one, national monetization pipeline. Friends, government has decided to monetize some of the assets of the nation so that the private will look after them. At the same time, they will get some windfalls. That is, they will get some lump sum amount, and that the government can invest in important developmental sectors. At the same time, the maintenance cost of those infrastructure will be transferred to the private sector. So here the government is hitting two birds with a single stone, that is capital for development sector and reducing the cost of maintenance of infrastructure. Now what are those assets that are being monetized? We will discuss. That is operational toll roads worth 5,000 crores being transferred to National Authority of India Investment Infrastructure Trusts. Yeah, friends, now the National Highway Authority of India Investment Infrastructure Trust, they will give it to private sectors and mobilize this rupees 5,000 crore capital. Then transmission assets worth 7,000 crores to be transferred to PGCIL Invite. So even this will look after monetization and it will give the windfall to the government. Then dedicated freight corridor assets to be monetized by railways for operations and maintenance after commissioning. So all the dedicated freight corridors will be monetized. Then next lot of airports to be monetized for operation and management concession. So friends, now some of the airports, they have already been monetized and more airports are coming in the line for monetization. Then other core infrastructure assets to be rolled out are oil and gas pipelines of Gas Authority of India Limited, then Indian Oil Corporation Limited and Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited. So gas pipelines of all the three companies will be monetized. Then airports of tier 2 and tier 3 cities will also be monetized. Then other railway infrastructure assets, that is railway stations, will also be monetized. Then warehousing assets of CPSEs, that is the Central Warehousing Corporation and NAFED's warehousing assets, that is the warehouses, cold storage chains, irradiation chambers, all those things will be monetized. Then sports stadiums will also be monetized. So friends, here is the figure, what are the things that are going to be monetized. Here we can see the telecom sector, then railway sector, then stadiums, then power transmission, then airports and aviation sector, roads, then the natural gas pipelines, and then petroleum industries, then mining, then ports, then warehouses, then real estates, that is the government sites in the urban India. So all those things will be monetized. So we will see up to what extent it will fetch the dividend for the government of India and to what extent those will be used for the developmental purposes. Then come to next one, the new schemes. Friends, here we will give only the highlight because it is difficult to discuss all those things under one forum. But however, I am sure that you might have studied about all the schemes right now because budget has been announced some 6 to 7 months back. So now coming to first one, the National Institution for One Health, that is One Health for both the human beings and animals, will be taken up. Then health and wellness centers, that is 17,000 and 11,000 health and wellness centers will be set up. Then National Institutes of Virology, that is 4 regional National Institutes of Virology will be set up. Then health emergency operation centers and mobile hospitals will be set up. Then public health labs in all districts will be set up. So here friends, the National Institute for One Health, then health and wellness centers, then virology institutes, then mobile hospitals, then health labs. So all these are worth remembering under the health sector. So these are also part of National Health Mission. So that also we will take care. Then Mission Poshan 2.0 to be launched. That is to strengthen the nutritional content, delivery, outreach and outcome. So not only the content, delivery, outreach and outcome is also involved. Then this scheme merges the supplementary nutrition program and Poshan Abhiyan. So along with the Poshan Abhiyan, that is the target for maternal mortality rate, then infant mortality rate, anemia, and also supplementary nutrition programs like food fortification will be merged. Then the comprehensive National Hydrogen Energy Mission. So friends, here the aim is for the generation of hydrogen from green power resources. So here eco-friendly production of hydrogen will be taken up in various establishments set up by the government. Then come to more schemes. The Jal Jeevan mission, that is the urban mission, to be launched with an aim to provide 2.86 crore households with the tap connections, that is the tapped water supply will be provided, and universal water supply in all the 4,378 urban local bodies, that is the municipalities, will be provided. So here the tapped connection and 24 hours water supply has to be remembered. Then scrapping policy. Friends, the voluntary vehicle scrapping policy is being poised to phase out old and unfit vehicles. So friends, this will aim for fitness tests to be conducted in the automated fitness centers. So all the vehicles, they have to undergo fitness tests. Yes, we have discussed this. Then for personal vehicles, every 20 years once the test has to be conducted. And then for the commercial vehicles, the test has to be conducted once in every 15 years. So this is all about the scrapping policy. Then come to next one, the production linked incentive scheme. Friends, for the next 5 years, some 13 sectors have been chosen and the number of sectors are increasing. So 13 is not a fixed number here. Then this helps the manufacturing companies to become an integral part of global supply chain and possess core competence and cutting edge technologies. So not only in the supply chain but also in the R&D sector, it will help the manufacturing industries to grow. So this PLI scheme is also very important. Then come to next one, the mega investment textile parks, that is the Mitra scheme. Friends, Mitra scheme is related to the textile parks, that is to set up 7 textile parks to be established over 3 years. Then textile industry to become globally competitive and attract large investments and boost employment generation and exports. So this Mitra scheme we will remember. The national infrastructure pipeline, it was expanded to 7,400 projects. So now 7,400 projects is being under the national infrastructure pipeline. So all these infrastructural projects will be taken up in an expeditious manner. Then around 217 projects worth 1.10 lakh crores are already being completed. Then measures in 3 thrust areas to increase funding for national infrastructure pipeline, that is creation of institutional structures, that is laws, regulatory bodies, rules, regulations, etc. Then big thrust on monetizing assets. So monetizing assets, they will be completed expeditiously and monetized as soon as possible. Then enhancing the share of capital expenditure. So our duty is to enhance the capital expenditure at the very first instant, and after that take up revenue expenditure. So first construct and then consume. So this is all about national infrastructure pipeline. Then rupees 20,000 crore to set up and capitalize a development financial institution. So it acts as a provider and enabler and catalyst for infrastructure financing. So this development financial institutes, it is set up for financing the infrastructure projects. Then rupees 5 lakh crore lending portfolio to be created under the proposed development financial institution in next 3 years. So this DFIs will be having the capacity to lend 5 lakh crore in the next 3 years. So initial capital is 20,000 crore. After 3 years, it will gain 5 lakh crores of capitals. So this is all about the development financial institutions. Then come to next one, the Metro Light and Metro Neo. Friends, this Metro Light is the light metro and Metro Neo means the new metros. Friends, these are basically taken up in the tier 2 and peripheral areas of tier 1 cities. So these are not in the tier 1 cities, it is in the outskirts of tier 1 cities. So this light metro, it will be acting as a great commuting agent for people living in towns and other cities. Then single security markets code to be evolved. So one security market code for the stock markets. Then support for development of world-class financial technology hub at the GIFT IFSC center. So in the GIFT city, the fintech hub will be poised to be set up. Then national language translation mission to make the government and policy related knowledge to be available in major Indian languages. So friends, what is this national language translation mission? It is not related to art and culture, it is related to polity. So here all the rules and regulations, they will be translated to the regional languages and they will be made available for all the citizens who are speaking varied regional languages so that they can comply with the letter and spirit. So these are some of the schemes brought out by budget. Friends, there are more schemes that are brought in, but however they were the reiteration of the older schemes, but these are some of the new ones. So it is our duty to go through this as detailed as possible, and then if there are any questions appearing, we will hit it without fail. So this is all about today. Then come to the last part. Friends, laziness and laziness alone is the root cause for all illness that India is facing today. That is, you take corruption, someone somewhere, he is not willing to work hard and get the work done legally. So that is why he is paying bribes. And coming to paper leakouts, someone is not willing to work hard and study for the exam. That is why the papers are being leaked. And coming to terrorism, friends, unemployed youths, they are finding easy way for money by entering into militancy. So that is also laziness. And then ill health, it is all due to laziness and lack of physical activity. And then hankering for government jobs, that is also a bit laziness, because we are hankering for sheltered existence and monthly salary rather than competing in the open market and trying to become the entrepreneurs, the millionaires, billionaires and achievers. And then environmental problems. Friends, that AC culture, luxury lives, then filthing all around and not cleaning our households. So these are all the offshoots of laziness alone. So friends, we have to get rid of laziness if India has to become a better place. So we will shun laziness and we will become active. And friends, I hereon give a clarion call to make India the #1 nation in this world by working everyone unitedly for that. So do it. All the very best. Good luck, friends.